There should be no shame in discussing or seeking help for treatable illnesses that affect too many people that we love. We've got to get rid of that embarrassment. We've got to get rid of that stigma. Too many Americans who struggle with mental health illnesses are still suffering in silence rather than seeking help.
Welcome to Fall Fest. Alright, so you're going to spin this wheel here. Whatever color you get, you're going to pick a question out of the colored cups.
Okay.
And then see if you can answer it.
Alright.
How do you foster positive mental health for yourself? Is there anything specific that you find useful? Well, I'm from a really big family. I'm one of 9. It's really helpful to be able to talk to them and connect with family. I also like to journal and pray a lot.
I think that spending time alone and writing or drawing, maybe going on a hike, just giving yourself time to relax in a stressful environment that school is.
I think keeping in touch with friends and family who aren't here and also fostering relationships with people here in Boone.
There's a trifecta of sleep, diet, and exercise that are, I think, really important to mental health.
Why do you think people struggle when talking about mental health? Because it is so stigmatized, especially in college. You're kind of expected to just transition really well and quickly to your new environment, and we kind of forget to check in on others and check in on ourselves and kind of see and address how we're doing.
It's a little awkward to bring up at first, but I think once you get past that barrier, then you can talk about whatever you want, as long as if the people around you are supportive.
I don't know. There's a lot of insecurities about people and how they feel, and not everyone necessarily wants to make that an open thing for you to learn about.
What do you do to support others, friends, family, even strangers, and their mental health? Well, me and my mother and sister, we've experienced similar things, and so we know how to talk to each other, and we understand whatever space that we need to give to each other, or we from experience we can tell each other what we need to do to help out.
When you know something is going wrong, I think another thing that's important to do is to actually support people in trying to find the resources that they need, whether it is professional psychotherapy, whether it's some sort of support group that's specific to their problem, or whether it's reading a book that pertains to that and provides good information.
Make sure you're there for them, always be kind and always be cautious, kind of act like someone has the problem that you don't know of.
I think one of the most important things that we can give to people is time and listening. People feel pressure to be able to give someone an answer or be able to help them right away, but oftentimes what's a lot more valuable is just showing up and being willing to listen, even if you don't have all the answers.
I ask people what they need when they're in trouble.
Yeah.
And I try to respect people's wishes if they don't want to be around people, or play music that they like.
Yeah, those are all great answers.
Well, whatever they ask, I'm going to help them for, whenever they need help, they reach out, I'm there for them, Even if they don't reach out, you can talk to them about it, help them out, help them through it. Yeah, I think the best support would be talking and just talking through it,
I mean, I think it's a good idea to just be a listening ear and let them talk to you and be willing to hear them out and hear all of their situations and possibly offer a solution if you have one.
What comes to your mind when you hear the words mental health? It's a lot of negativity, mental health problems, but since coming to campus, everybody's been really open about it, and I think that's been super fun. And so I love whenever we just do mental health awareness.
Your overall happiness, your overall kind of happiness with where you are, with the world that you're in, with your environment, and just being able to feel safe in that environment.
Self-esteem, experiences and environment, how that affects our daily functioning.
Personal wellness. I think mental health is overlooked as far as being important with regard to your entire physiology. Just taking care of your mental health is just as important as, feeding yourself and staying hydrated.
Is there a stigma around mental illness? If so, what does it mean for students who plan to or are currently seeking help through counseling? I definitely feel like there is a stigma. When people go to the counseling center, they feel you get put in that certain category. Like it almost makes them not want to seek help. It's okay to ask for help. Like that's the one thing I'll say that's big. Even if other people look at you one way, I don't think there's anything wrong with like trying to ask for help.
I think that over time we've kind of seen the stigma shift and reduce a little bit. I think especially on this campus, I see a lot of students having conversations with their friends, their faculty members, mentors about mental health, and I think that's really encouraging. I think there is still a stigma around talking about mental health challenges, as well as seeking help.
I mean, I guess there's stigma about mental illness. Like if you have a mental illness, everyone thinks like, oh, they're kind of sick or something. I don't know. It's kind of weird to think about. It's something that's just not really talked about. So I think that is why there's a stigma. I guess if you see a counselor, people know you're seeing a counselor, they think something's wrong with you. And I think that's just kind of strange because sometimes it's just for your own good.
With mental illness, it can be kind of difficult to seek out help, especially if you don't have like a close-knit community to talk to. It can be hard to go and talk to someone that you don't know. I think it's definitely helpful to have people that you're very close to be able to have these conversations that can then help you to go get professional help.
In the college environment, I think it's the stigma is lightening, definitely. Like I see it being more accepted.
If you could plan an event or create a service that you think would benefit people mental health on campus, what would it be? I would probably do something with the arts, like maybe like a paint session or like music and paint and something like that that like gets everybody, thinking about like positive things or like things that they can better themselves with.
Maybe a panel or something talking about stereotypes of certain mental illnesses and then debunking them.
Like play with animals, because animals are really therapeutic, so like dogs and cats. And
plan a service where you'd have like free therapy or low-cost therapy that's like accessible to students.
I think it is. I think it is becoming easier for people to talk about mental health issues and psychological disorders in our society. I think that that's demonstrated by the wave of cases that we see at college counseling centers and other community mental health clinics. People are feeling more at ease about admitting, I'm having a problem and I need some help for it.
I think it is, at least in some sectors of society. I think there are efforts going on to increase people's mental health literacy or just their knowledge about mental health, their ability to talk about mental health earlier on in life. So sometimes that's worked into school curriculums. Sometimes that's conversations that are happening within families. Sometimes that's people seeking treatment earlier.
I think mental health deserves more attention just from the government, from our university community.
I think that if more people performed random acts of kindness, that our society as a whole might be different and people might in fact believe this is a place that's safe, this is a place that's nurturing, this is a place that supports me, instead of maybe faltering in that belief and that leading to worsening mental health issues. I'd like to see there be more resources for fostering mental health on college campuses and in our country as a whole.
I think just more visibility, whether that's in our media, whether that's people in positions of power, influence, talking about mental health, and just increased research to help us understand that more. The more that people who are dealing with mental health concerns are represented and their stories are told in an accurate way, I think that makes it easier to talk about.
It shouldn't be a hard thing to talk about, and we should all talk about it more because it's a good thing to talk about, and it makes it better when you talk about it.
It's a tough conversation, but it's a conversation that needs to be had, and if you need help, seek help, ask a friend, tell a parent, tell somebody, it's a tough thing, but you can work through it.